All right, so y'all look like YBC Bucky did respond to everybody's allegations and everybody's thing they had to say. It looked like he tried to respond to me or whatever, respond to DJ Academics, whatever. But he didn't personally respond. It seemed like he wanted to respond through Trap Lil Ross, and to me it feels like it's just it's a bunch of bullshit. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna let y'all hear anyway. We're gonna go over it. We're gonna react to it. Make sure I hit that like button, subscribe, and share the video out. Let's get it.
To do both, you know what I'm saying? It's like if you max out one, just get
good. But you know me, I'm just stacking up content. Got a child on the way, so got to have a again, Ross. They don't know we recorded a song 4 or 5 months ago with Shaw G's in New York City.
Bro, I can't lie, man. I went back to London, man. I was telling my friends I had a song with Shaw G's. No one believed me. No one believed that I had a song with Shaw G's, bro. You know what I'm saying? We got to show it, man.
Yeah, it'll come out. It'll come out eventually. You know me, I'm just stacking up content. Got a child on the way, so got to have a lot of stuff in the vault.
No, that's good, man. It's good to stack up content. Like for me, I feel like I'm just constantly chasing content of like just spending weeks and weeks and weeks trying to learn everything about a topic, man. It's hard. So, you know, stacking content I feel like is a really like it's good momentum. Like I wish I could stack content, but I'm trying to be like you, man. Hopefully I'll get there. I'm trying to just like improve my processes as a YouTuber at the moment. But you kill it, man.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're making these epic documentaries where it's like the equivalent of 4 of my videos in one. It's 2 hours long, so it's like, you know, be hard to stack up those 2-hour videos.
Well, you know what it is, bro. It's like I am interested in so many different scenes, whether it's the UK scene. I've only really been learning about the Philly scene over the last couple of months. Obviously, Chicago, that's a big part of my story. But it's kind of like I got to lock into one area for like a whole month, and then it's almost like I can't listen to music from other areas because I'm just.
One key word which y'all did y'all just hear what he said? Trap Lil Ross for him to be sticking his nose in it. He's saying he just heard about the Philly scene. So if you just heard about it, who are you to come in and just try to? I'm gonna let y'all see. I'm gonna let y'all see how the interview went. It seems like he placing blame on Dul for all his actions that he did from coming in the city, recording him and whatever, and all this crazy shit. You know what I'm saying? Y'all gonna see what I'm talking about.
Just so dialed into like Chicago or Philly or whatever I'm working on at the time. So sometimes it's tough, man, but it's like, you know, it's a different kind of approach. I find myself getting just so sucked into the worlds that I'm looking into. It's kind of an interesting contrast because I feel like you physically go and get sucked into these places and actually immerse yourself in these worlds, whereas I kind of just digitally immerse myself in a place and try and learn everything I can about it. And I think there's so much value in both of those approaches, but it's very hard to do both. You know what I'm saying? It's like if you max out one stat, you kind of can't max out the other stat and vice versa.
Yeah, absolutely. I got a taste of what it was like to make just a 7-minute part of your video because, you know, Dul wanted me to put the intro breaking down all of his, hood politics. That was pretty exhausting. The amount of research and just editing from nothing, just me talking and making it visually entertaining it's a lot of work.
You know what? That's super interesting, man. Because I was really curious. Like that first, like you say, like 7 minutes or so of the video, you lay everything out. Like I've been looking into Philly over the last few weeks, and you lay everything out in
sound like they saying the same shit over and over again.
Such a concise, tight, like it's very. Like I was impressed. I was like, damn, like you're really communicating like what's going on in this area, how deep it gets. Obviously, you explained the backstory behind a lot of the important people that have kind of came up with.
It's crazy how now he gets a response from him. I'm gonna show y'all, I'm gonna show y'all what happened. Like I went and I seen Buckingham responded on Trap Lord Ross's video he made on Q50 saying he gonna give him an interview in a few weeks or whatever. The video was based on talking about how Q50's on the run for the feds, and you talking about in the comment section that you're gonna give him an interview coming to Chicago in 2 weeks. So I put a comment on there. I'm gonna show you what I said and shit. But I put a comment on there right on Trap Lil Ross video. So I guess Trap Lil Ross feel like he's getting in the middle of it, or he's gonna instigate it, or whatever, gonna have his back or whatever. I don't know, but shit, you can get thrown up in a blender too.
Ybcdul, and like we're a big part of his story. So I really respected what you did, and it was actually dope to see you kind of break down some of that history at the start of the video, and then you pop up in that place and you give people that extra context. So I thought it was an incredible video, man. I thought you did a really good job of communicating what goes on in Philly.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Ross. I did make one big mistake. I should have done all my research before. I did it backwards, like we did the video May 13th, soon after because I linked with Skrilla, met Duel. Duel wanted me to do the video, so I pulled right.
I heard what he said. He said he should have did all his research first. That's what the main part that we was trying to point out. You should have did your research. Feel me? You did your research. You would have found out more about everything that's going on. You don't just jump in the middle of a hood war that's going on pretty much, and it's involving the music industry too. At the same time, it was really exposing a lot of shit. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, we won't get into it.
Right back up. Did very brief research, and then as I was editing the video over the next 3 or 4 months, I learned about how deep everything goes. And then when I was editing it, some of the stuff he was talking about, I'm like, he's referencing people that have been killed by his set and all this stuff, and it just started to go very deep. And I don't know. I've never been. None of my videos are like that. You know what I mean? That was like a unique video. Like I did the Jacksonville video.
So you saying you didn't do 1 inch a bit of research on this man, but you went to go interview him. What made you want to go interview him? I mean, then you see him on the vlogs, and not the vlogs, but on the Instagram sites, going viral for the dumb shit that he was doing and shit. He pretty much telling you everything he's doing in his songs, and as he's doing it, he's not promoting nothing else. He's not promoting Muslim, nothing. So what made you want to go research him and after the fact, or go look him up to go shoot a vlog?
Where I referenced your video and talked about the beef, but I just talked to how it affected the society. I didn't actually go hang out with Fulio or Young and A. So I don't know. It was really interesting having my perception of Duel, just ground level, and then learning about the backstory. And it I don't know. It's dark. It's really a dark thing.
It is, man. That's one of the difficult things about what I do is I find myself just reading about murder so often, and it's really it kind of comes off the back of how violent like drill music has gotten. I swear, when I started doing this job, there weren't so many songs about people that got killed. Nowadays, it's damn near like a lot of the music is about murders, and it's a real intersection between like true crime and like music, gangster rap culture. And it's sort of like we're in a very dark era of music, I would say, and it seems to be happening city to city. So just off the back of what you just said, like one of the first things I wanted to ask you, just in general, just out of interest, was like, how much did you know about Philly, kind of the drill scene and the history before you went there? I know you went.
He just told you he ain't do no research at all, but we know that's a contradiction, because how would you even known about the dude?
Linked up with Skrilla before you met Duel, and he appeared briefly in that kind of initial vlog that you did with Skrilla. But like, what was your like sense of the Philly scene? Like, did you feel like it was similar to Chicago? Did you feel like it was its own beast? Like, where did you slowly get the understanding of like how shit goes down in Philly?
I hate to admit it, I literally knew nothing. I know a decent amount about the Chicago situation and about the DC situation, because that's close to where DC is close to where I live. But I knew nothing. I knew about Kensington. I knew about Skrilla. I didn't know who Ybcdul was when I met him. I didn't know what YBC was. I didn't know who Lil Bucks was. I didn't know what CCK was. I didn't know any of this stuff. I mean,
so why the fuck did you want to come interview him? That's what I'm trying to understand. You had to know something, because I'm in the East Coast, and I know something. That's what made me started put him up there for promotion and shit, because I seen he was going hard, but he was going hard in the wrong way, and I was saying it during my lives and my videos and shit I was making of him before any of this shit even occurred. You feel what I'm saying? But you said you in DC. How you ain't hear none of that? And Duel just made a song with Triple Threat. I mean, not Triple Threat, One Threat from DC. You feel me? But yeah, it seemed like it's fascinating for y'all. But this the thing that I be hating about this kind of shit, right? These motherfuckers be cool with the shit, riding along with it, just thinking it. What did you think was gonna come off of it? Like, you see this picture of you, and are you looking down at him like on the porch? What did you think this shit was? Do you even remember what you were saying to him in this moment? I remember exactly. You were saying something about, matter of fact, it's the viral clip. He was saying, "Don't nobody ever touch me, play with me in the city," and all that. Dude was taking the opportunity to use any type of media leverage he could to promote and diss his ops. He didn't give a fuck. He was on that. You feel me? He let it be known. You feel me? And everybody else he was rolling with, that's what they was doing. That's what y'all were doing. You feel what I'm saying? In y'all different states. But you took advantage of the opportunity to to blow the video up because you knew he was gonna go viral because he was just talking all type of shit. What did you think he was talking about? Like you could have asked him any other questions about anything else, or made him talk about something else different than just dissing his ops. That's all this video was seeming like. Every damn question y'all came about, every question that was brought up about was something about how much he was in charge, how much he was running the city. If he did a vlog with somebody else, he was gonna come flame that joint up and all that shit. You laughing and smirking. Like I said, this is the only thing I hate about this kind of shit. These motherfuckers think it's cool and funny until something goes wrong. Then they wanna, I didn't know this. I'm not taking accountability. That's why y'all see me go out my way and say that shit to him. Cause I feel like fuck it, he not gonna just run through cities after city and just damage the shit and then don't take full accountability for the shit that he doing. I'm not saying that you promoted everything that was happening before that, but like you said, you should have did your research, buddy. Should have did your research. That's all.
And I remember hanging out with Duel and listening to his music afterwards, and he would say like "Buddy in the fro and a Rizzy in the snipe," and I thought that was just like some kind of cool slogan, or it's like there's a lot of instances of that, like even in the Chicago scene when they're like shouting out like JoJo and smoking on these people, and people don't even know what it means, and then you like actually realize what it means. You're like, holy shit! Like Buddy in the fro and the Rizzy in the snipe. Those are 4 people, some of which are young teens that were blatantly murdered.
It's messed up.
And that's the main thing that makes you seem like you're a part of it. If you sitting there promoting that shit, then you had enough to drop the video with him. All this crazy shit. I'm gonna let y'all hear the rest, but I ain't gonna keep stopping. But I just want to go as we going along. I want to correct this shit because I don't feel like going back and forth on.
Man, I feel like I don't know if you remember, but like obviously one of the first names that was always dissed as someone that was getting smoked was Tuka from Chicago, and there was that big scandal. Like this is like the early days of Chicago drill, where I think it was like Young M.A. and a couple other rappers said that they were smoking Tuka. They literally, I think they just thought Tuka was like the hot new cool word for weed, and they were talking about we smoked Tuka, and then before you know it, they're having to apologize to the GDs in Chicago. And I feel like it's interesting because it's almost like this has happened city to city. Like what you said about the Buddy and the fro, like I get where you're coming from. Like I feel like when people drop that when Young and Ace dropped that Who I Smoke song, and they're talking about we're smoking beer, like people were singing that. You had Aiden Ross singing that. He had no freaking idea what he was saying and how deep that it was getting. And I think it's like that city to city. It's hard to expect a journalist to necessarily know who is the weed in every single city and not disrespect them off the gate, especially if you're more trying to go and immerse yourself into the scene. So I think this world is, there's a lot of traps and there's a lot of very fine lines between offending people and stuff. Like
what the fuck did he just say? That shit's stupid. But what I get out of that, what they not doing, they not taking, they contradicting what they saying. You feel what I'm saying? Like you saying because he said smoking Buddy in the fro and this, that, the third, you didn't know he was dissing it. So you didn't know you was doing something when you was aiming your gun with the drill scope. What did you think this was, a fucking laser tag party or something? What did you think that was? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Y'all seem like y'all, you know what I'm saying? And that's why I shout out academics, because academics used to do the same thing, but it seemed like he came a long way and he learned from his mistakes. So he's starting to clean up a little bit. He's not trying to just put everything out there when he knows it's going to damage his people. You feel me? Not even his people, just people in general. You feel what I'm saying? That's all I'm trying to say. Would you, for instance, would you go interview the mob? Would you go interview the Italian mob without them being convicted and document them and ask them questions like this and take them all through their city or their Italian stores and shit and talk about all the dead bodies they chopped up and shit? Would you do that, or would you have some type of precaution before they do it? You feel what I'm saying? You going to do some type of research. To me, it sounds like you thinking the hood is soft, the hood is sweet or something. You could just come through and just shoot a video anytime you want to.
Like, it's kind of a scary, dangerous world. Like you don't want to say the wrong thing and offend the wrong person,
For sure, and I don't know. I think Duel is one of the few. I mean, there's not that many people that are that openly brazen in talking about these things. So it's like, forgive me for my ignorance, but it was like I hung out with him for like 5 or 6 days, and I thought I consider Duel a friend. We got along great, and then I guess I was a little bit ignorant about some of the stuff that was going on that I learned about in the editing process. Yeah, it'll come out. It'll come out eventually. Like shouting out like JoJo and smoking on these people, and people don't even know what it means. And yeah,
it's messed up, man. Someone that was early days of I think they just, before you know it, like, this is where you're coming from. Like, they're talking about here what he was very dangerous,
openly brazen in talking about these things. So it's like, forgive me for my ignorance, but it was like, I hung out with him for like 5 or 6 days, and I thought I consider Joel a friend. We got along great. And then
you hung out with him for 5 or 6 days. 5 or 6 days.
I guess I was a little bit ignorant about some of the stuff that was going on that I learned about in the editing.
And you guess you was a little bit ignorant. You guess, right? You don't know for sure if you was ignorant. What are you talking about, man? You feel what I'm saying? It seemed like you called trapmoreross because you want him to back you up on the bullshit. You feel what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is, what you did. You feel what I'm saying? Like, if somebody, for instance, what DJ Ybcdul was trying to prove, somebody black would have did that shit, they would have been looking for them the next day. They wouldn't have looked at him like no goddamn content creator. You feel what I'm saying? But yeah, though, you saying you didn't check into it. You saying you ain't check into it until after you started editing. It didn't seem like you edited at all, man. You feel what I'm saying?
Editing process, but I don't know. It's crazy. It's all really crazy. Like, I know I got a lot of criticism for that song, hopping on that song. I wanted to do a song because we did a song together. You saw how that organically happened. We're hanging out, we're filming. The rapper wants to go to the studio, so we go to the studio. I wanted to hop on the beat first, so I did my verse with Dual.
Now he's the rapper. Listen what you saying. You supposed to be the reporter, right? Okay, we're gonna put it into the way you saying it. Rapper and the reporter. The rapper wanted to go to the studio. Why did you have to jump on it? You feel me? You should have did your research. I understood that this is a drill rapper. 9 times out of 10, ain't no drill rappers making no songs without dissing somebody dead or dissing somebody's ops or something. What y'all think this is, man?
Rapping about drug addiction and whatnot. Then he did his verse. I thought it sounded good. I didn't know what he was talking about. And then we did the music.
He said he sounded good and he didn't know what he was talking about. Listen with
video. It's supposed to go on the vlog. He ends up wanting to drop it on his tape. And I'm like, yeah, that should be fine. And then as I'm doing my research, I'm like, this might put a target on my back. Like, you're dissing people on the song. I don't know if this is a good idea. And he's like, it's fine. Like, look at Skrilla. I've done all these songs with Skrilla. Skrilla's fine. It's no big deal. And I'm like, whatever. And then he says,
so if you said whatever at that point, at that moment, you pretty much made a decision. Let's keep it simple. You made a decision. Everybody's grown. Everybody's grown, man. No matter if you came from it or not. You made a decision to be a part of YBC on what the side they doing, whatever. You feel what I'm saying? Or not even part of them, just part of the drill shit that they got going on at that moment. Whatever side you on. It don't even matter if you were part of the side, but you dissing people. Don't nobody just jump up along in no goddamn songs talking about, yeah, we shooting this, shooting that for content, and look at it like it's just content, man. That's why that shit shouldn't be promoted. That drill music shit. That shit shouldn't be. That's why I'm against that shit, man. You feel what I'm saying? But it seems like that's what everybody want to be into right now. But I'm telling you the wrong and the right from that shit. Especially when I see 2 motherfuckers from the outside coming in, instigating, starting shit up, and then don't want to take full accountability for the shit that they done stirred up. Not even you, Trap Lord, because you just came into this picture. But I'm saying you got other shit going on that you done stirred up. That see people done said, but it seemed like you done took full accountability for what you done did. You know what I'm saying? And you accepting it. But Buckingham definitely seemed like he going through a phase right now. I don't think he thought it was going to be that serious. But it would have been different if you just shot the video, right? And you ain't, like you said, you ain't record no diss songs. You ain't do none of this shit. You ain't interact with that shit too much. Now, if you want to say like you a reporter with feet on land, then go ahead. That's what you is. You feel what I'm saying? But just be more street when it comes to it. That's all. You feel what I'm saying?
Says he wants to do a music video. And
I'll be honest, man, like when I saw that video, I almost felt like bad for you, because I almost felt like you'd been tricked and maybe like sucked into some danger that maybe you didn't sign up for. Because I saw that, and like I break down music professionally, right? So I listened to your verse and I'm like, there's nothing really offensive. You're talking about drug addiction and like your experiences and like stuff that you and people around you died. Yeah. Exactly, stuff that's gone on around you. That's what rap's about. That's authentic rap. You're talking about what's true to you. You're not realizing that he's putting you, like, I think what was interesting was it's like you didn't say anything offensive. You probably didn't realize anything offensive was going down. But then the context that Dul's kind of placed you in with the whole Buckingham thing and then the Ronald McDonald thing, it's almost like...
So we playing switch the focus type shit, right? We switching the focus. When Dul put that motherfucking song and it said Buckingham, that was throwing you in the mix right there. You didn't ask him, well, what does this mean? Like, I seen you in the vlog with Skrilla before this shit happened and all that shit. I remember seeing you. But Dul was also in the vlog with Skrilla, showing you that he diss ops, telling you how the Fiends of Kensington, this, that, the third, and like, what did you think, man? Like, come on, it seemed like y'all switching the focus and placing the blame on different people type shit, and not accepting accountability.
I kind of felt bad for you. I felt like, damn, like he kind of a real disrespectful gangster kind of tricked you into some dangerous shit. Like, did you feel that way?
Yeah, I don't want to act like I'm a victim or anything. Like, I'm a 29-year-old grown man. I should have been smarter. But
29, that motherfucker like he's 59. God damn.
You know, just I don't know. I don't want to say he tricked me. Long live Dul. I really like Dul. It was my decision, and you know, I apologize to the families of the people that were dissing on that song. Like, I didn't mean to diss them, and I know how it looked. I never chose the song or the title McBuckingham. We weren't wearing clown makeup. I know Poetic Flocka was like, he's wearing clown makeup. Like, no.
So you just saying you a follower instead of a leader. So you saying pretty much you a content creator, reporter, that motherfucker tell you come do something, do it how they say, you better do it. You better jump quick type shit. That's what you saying?
It's an AI thing. That was not my decision. But it was much like when you saw me in the studio with Shaw G's rapping. He's like, I told him, like, don't diss anyone. You know what I mean? I had the similar sentiment with Dul, like, don't diss anyone. And I just think Mr. Disrespectful is going to be like, okay, yeah, not going to diss anyone. Okay,
well, it was low key a little bit disrespectful to you, but
y'all laughing about it right now as you talking about it.
I feel like there was probably too much going on for you to really like appreciate what he was sucking you into. I think it's interesting because the more I'm learning about him, obviously, Mr.
Sucking you into it. Brandon, stop it and take full accountability. You put yourself into this shit too. Like, what the fuck? What the fuck is going on? Anybody else feel different? Let me know what y'all think, man. In the comments. Drop
Respectful was his moniker. That was his that was his persona, is kind of disrespecting people and kind of disrespecting, not respecting the law and just like not respecting shit basically. And I feel like that was almost like there was a part of me that almost felt like, damn, like he, I said it to you in a message the other day of like, it made me wonder, like, if it was you that got hurt getting sucked into this world, like, how would he have responded? Like, would he have respected that? Would he have felt like he was responsible for you getting hurt? It's an interesting one because he is, from everything I've watched about him, he's a very loose cannon, but at the same time, you built a relationship behind the scenes. You kind of became quite friendly. You probably trusted him. So it's it's from the outside, it's a very like interesting scenario to kind of witness.
Yeah, no, it's definitely complex, and I don't want to make it seem like he tricked me or he disrespected me or whatever. I made my own decision, and I should have been more informed. But definitely, like, I think if something bad were to happen to me and not Dul, I think he would have cared. Me and Dul, as much as people just think we hung out for that one day, we hung out 5 or 6 times, and we talked on the phone like almost every day or every other day, especially the 3 weeks leading up to editing the video. And like, in the editing process, a lot of bad stuff happened within YBC, like Mir Pablo getting arrested, BD getting arrested, and we're talking on the phone these days, and I got to see the raw emotion of Dul, and as much as people want to make things out to be black and white and no gray area, these are humans that are experiencing a lot of trauma, and it's not just Philadelphia and YBC Dul. A lot of these people that I've hung out with have opened up to me off camera and even cried and been really upset about their friends that have died and the bad things that have happened, and they just can't express that on camera because they're in an active war zone and you don't want to show weakness. I mean, we have people that go overseas into Afghanistan and Iraq and stuff, and they fight and they come back and they have to do all of these mental health stuff, and they're on medication and therapy, and then these young men are in a microcosm of war where they're seeing real death and real people losing their lives, and they're nothing. They're just out on the street selling drugs and with a gun and with a microphone. So I don't know. I think it sounds weird, and I've like people have like kind of gone off on me when I said this, that like Dul was a good person, but it's like people are complex. You know what I mean? People are very complex. I've done horrible things in my life, like I've sold drugs, I've robbed people, I've been arrested a ton of times. Like, it's hard to break someone down into good or bad. But if you were Dul's friend, and you knew him personally in that regard, he was a good friend. Although if he wanted something, he was very pushy. If he if he wanted something from you or whatever, if you knew Duel, he definitely was hard to say. He didn't take no easily, but he was a caring, kind person. And I think
So how did you know all that within 5 or 6 days of just meeting him, Brandon Buckingham? That's what we trying to figure out. You lying right there, because you know him longer than that. Just said you knew him. Matter of fact, I don't even know if we got to that part, but just lying, gang. Stop it, man. Feel what I'm saying? But you talking about your good friend and all this and that, and he did this and that, the third, all within 5 or 6 days. I know if I mess them out within 5 or 6 days, I'm not gonna be able to judge them off of just that little bit of character and know that they're gonna be able to do this and that.
if I did get killed, I think he would be upset about that. I don't think he would be excited or anything.
I think that's important that you say all that, man, because he painted himself as kind of a supervillain, but he's a human at the end of the day. We're all human. We've all done bad things we regret, things we were maybe pushed into doing by circumstance or the situation, and it's a real dude. I'm sure there were a lot of people that Duel, did a lot of positive things for, and he made a difference in their life. So I feel like that's the other side of this story of he's Mr. Disrespectful, but that's coming off the back of losing a lot of his own friends to the streets, being targeted, being mocked by his rivals, and even though he's Mr. Disrespectful, the supervillain of Philly, he's a real guy that did good things for people too, and he was a product of his environment.
That's the only thing in that I heard out of this whole interview that sounds like it makes sense for real, gang. You know what I'm saying? It sounds like it makes sense. Other than that, all that other shit that y'all talking about, it sounds like y'all trying to place blame and not accept accountability. Saying, oh yeah, he said I did this, he said he did this, he said I did this. Ain't nobody tell you to go shoot a vlog with Duel in the middle of the hood, walk around the hood and taunt his ops, because that's pretty much what the fuck it was. It wasn't even a vlog. It was a video that Duel made before he died. A whole video based on taunting his ops. You feel what I'm saying? And how the fuck he in charge type shit. You know what I'm saying? Everybody in Philly already know. I felt the shit when you released the motherfucking video that morning. I'm like, damn, something about to happen on this, because he had videos like this, but it was never this fully explained out. And you didn't see this side of Brandon Buckingham that you're seeing right here. He's talking on the interview. I feel like if you'd have talked to him like this, you probably wouldn't have been accepted, or you probably would have just been shooting one of them vlogs or them interviews that Duel did, where he's sitting with Say Cheese or somebody on the couch. You feel what I'm saying? I feel like Say Cheese did his whole he did his whole research before he even brought Duel on the scene. You feel what I'm saying? So shout out Say Cheese for doing his research for real. You know what I'm saying?
And the environment in Philly is just getting more and more violent, dangerous, and disrespectful, it seems, as the weeks go by, and he's a product of that.
Yeah, I mean, he was the breadwinner for his group for the most part, but there's a video. I don't want to say too much. There's a video of a shooting happening in Philadelphia that has 13 million views on YouTube. It's someone popping out at a gas station and shooting, and that's a testament to that just a shooting on video gets more views than all of their music combined, and that just shows humans' natural proclivity to tune into violence. So can you really blame Duel if not just Duel, but anyone that's living in an impoverished area they don't have both parents, they don't have food, they don't have money, and they want to make it out, and they see hey, let me just feed into this violent environment I'm in and rap about it, and it'll be a serious way out. I want to be like Lil Durk, I want to be like Chief Keef. Can you really blame them? And I know as much as you want to disavow it, and I can say it's bad all day, I don't live in that environment. And these people, it's a real opportunity for them to make it out. And I do want to say something. I don't know if I can say this. I'll try to be as vague as possible. Whenever Duel
motherfuckers that live in that environment. Hold on, what did he just say? He said you could say something about it all day and it don't matter because you live in that environment. Motherfuckers that do live in that environment say something about it all day and don't say something bad about it all day. Still don't matter. Shit's still gonna be the same. What are you talking about?
And me shot the McBuckingham music video. I found myself in the middle of a shootout where people were shooting guns, and two of the people we were with got hit. And I got to see Duel in the line of fire when he was getting shot at, and he did not display a single drop of fear. He immediately was ready to go and to defend, told me and my camera guy to get down, and was unfazed. And he immediately recorded a different music video, the Baltimore music video, right after. I've left. I was I'm leaving. I couldn't take my car because my car was a part of a crime scene. It was in the yellow tape. So I Ubered to my friend Baby 50's house. But doing
So your friend is Baby 50, right? And also in that video, and I remember the part you talking about, the part where your car was part of the yellow crime scene tape. Why didn't you say that part in there? You didn't say none of this in there. Like, why didn't you say any of that then, Brandon? Why didn't you say YBC Bucky, whatever you want to call yourself? Why you didn't say that then? You knew you had enough sense to edit listen to me clearly, y'all. He had enough sense to edit that part out of the video, and now he wants to release that statement now, saying that his crime was a part of his car was a part of a crime scene, and that's why the yellow tape was around it. Remember we seen that part? He just made it seem like, oh shit, man, it's another crime going. Oh man, like he didn't know what was going on. And then it cut to another thing, cut to just Duel talking shit, Duel talking this. And that's when Duel was chumping the dude on camera on the car. You don't think people in that hood knew who car that was or whoever he was talking about, and they felt like, damn, man, you got to do something to respond to this shit. You feel what I'm saying? Shit crazy.
Immediately started filming a music video right after, and was kind of like laughing at me, like, "Oh, you're really gonna leave? Like, you're really gonna leave?" I'm like, "Bro, they're fucking just shot. They just shot at us. People are going to the hospital." But I mean, think about that level of how much he's been through and the trauma he's experienced, to where he's unfazed by gunfire coming our way. I mean, I was like trembling and scared, and I've been shot at like 5 or 6 times, but he didn't.
After a while, after you see the shit so much, you become a product of your environment. It becomes natural. It becomes natural, just like falling off a bike, scratching your skin. You feel what I'm saying?
Care at all.
That's why certain people belong on the sidewalk. Certain people don't belong in the hood. And when you belong in the hood, I mean, when you go into the hood, you already know what to expect. You already know what precautions to look for. You don't go through the hood expecting to shoot a vlog and expecting nothing. That's why when y'all was shooting, I'm like, damn, ain't nobody and none of his ops hop out on him yet. And through the whole vlog, he was saying people was rolling their windows up. That ain't alert you or nothing. That should have showed you people right there in your own vicinity was watching him, was hating on the vlog right there. You feel what I'm saying?
Seemed ready for whatever happened.
Yeah, I feel like that's really important to say because, you know, like I say, him being a product of his environment, you have to have been in some serious situations to not be fazed by a shootout like that. And I feel like, the other topic that I want to get onto with you is kind of like, you know, I know that you had a back and forth with DJ Academics. He kind of disrespected you with the sort of saying that you're voyeuristic in the way that you do things. But I feel like the fact that you're out there getting caught up in...
And then that too, you took that like that was a joke. You feel me? You want to talk shit, act like, man, he about to talk more shit on DJ Academic, then try to make it seem like, well, I wouldn't even be coming at him. The only reason why he coming at him because he's coming at me. Whatever.
In shootouts, I don't know how much more deep into it you need to get. I feel like I don't personally feel like it's voyeurism. I feel like there's been a misunderstanding there. But for you to actually be out there in the line of fire getting shot at, I think if anything that's a much more real indictment of how actually involved and how serious you are about showing the reality in these places that you would put yourself in danger to tell the story that's important, stories that aren't really being told in areas that are sort of being left behind and not really documented by the mainstream media in a sensitive way. So I think it's really important that you do that. And I think...
And that's the only thing I probably do give you credit for doing, Brandon, was you went into the trenches. You actually had feet on land and you did what you were supposed to do, shot the vlog. But you also were supposed to edit that part out, edit certain scenes out, edit certain parts. So after you shot the vlog, nobody's saying you couldn't shoot the vlog and then go back home and re-edit. It was like you was dying to put that shit up. And then another thing he said in this shit, he said something about, I don't know if he said it already, but he said something about the whole midst of him shooting that interview or that vlog, whatever. He was in contact with Duel over the phone. Amir Pablo just been locked up and all this and that. Curry went down and all this and that. How we know you ain't help him? Like you was talking to him in communication. You feel me? That's what people trying to say. You should have been very cautious about putting a vlog out like that. And then if somebody calling you on the phone that you shooting a vlog on, telling you that their team is going down, but you put out a vlog, and you mean to tell me he was cool with that shit, the way you put it out without editing anything out, the way you want to do it, but only thing he was cool with was editing out your car, not your car, but editing the fact out that was your car that was involved around that yellow tape. Come on, man. Make it make sense.
I want to maybe ask you, I know that there's been some back and forth and stuff since the video, but you know, I know you, so I feel like I know that your intentions are clear-hearted when it comes to making this type of content. But like, how would you explain to people what you do as far as like, you know, you're trying to give, what you're trying to achieve when you go into an area and you want to try and give a voice to the people there, or you want to try and give a window into a certain area that maybe some people think you shouldn't be able to do because of where you're from or how you look, but like you've gone there with a mission and an intention. Like, what's in your heart when you're actually going and making a film like this?
So whenever I go, like the thing that I think sets my videos apart from other people is I'm like I'm really hanging out and being friends with becoming friends with these people and building real relationships. So now people want to say like I'm glorifying things or I'm making things seem good. Like, for instance, we were hanging out with Shawji's that night. Did it seem appropriate for me to start lecturing him about the dangers of gun violence and being on drugs and in the hood? Like, it's not. We're supposed to be hanging out. We're just supposed to be hanging out as friends. So I want to show like the life. Like, that's why my videos are usually titled like "Life in This Place." So when I went out to hang out with Duel or Skrilla, I just want to go hang out with them. Whatever they're doing, whatever they're taking, I'm taking. We're having a good time, and wherever they want to go, we go. So I just let them take the wheel, and I come along with my camera, and I'm just kind of an accessory. But I mean, these claims of like voyeurism, look up the definition of voyeurism. Off the top of my head, it's like, first of all, that's a sexual connotation, which I know ACT didn't mean that. But secondarily, it's like watching people without their permission. You get a kick out of watching without their permission. That is literally what Academics is doing. He's watching my video, reacting to my video of me and Ybcdul without his permission or my permission from the comfort of his home. That's voyeurism. What I did is I was invited to Philadelphia by Ybcdul, welcomed, and came there in person, paid for everything we did, had a great time, and that's called real life. That's not voyeurism. So he is, by textbook definition, a voyeurist, minus the sexual stuff, and I'm actually someone who went out there in real life. And I know I'm
also, so if you want to put it that way, right, the difference in that situation is the fact that you didn't go back and re-edit the video like that was your true friend. That's your real true friend, or your buddy that you saying you've been with 5-6 days and you on the phone talking about mere Ybcdul and Kerry getting sentenced and people getting killed and all type of shit. You don't think, oh, I'm going to edit this part out like you did. You know, you had enough common sense to edit that part out about your car, though. Now you want to come out and say this shit. It sounds like you didn't want to put that shit out there at first because you knew something else happened that night. You feel what I'm saying? And it took place with you in it, and you just didn't want to like be a part of it type shit. You feel me? Allegedly, we're gonna say allegedly because I ain't putting you a part of nothing. You feel what I'm saying? But yeah, though, that's what it sounds like, man. And a friend gonna definitely edit that joint way better than that. Make sure he go about the proper precautions and the proper procedures to make sure anything's not going to lead to no damn indictment, especially if you in the motherfucker too. You feel me? What did you think? What did you think he was Superman?
Dissing him and stuff, and of course, I hope you know. I think that what Academics and what you do, brings real value. Sitting back, reporting the news, breaking it down, lining it all up has real value. So when I'm telling him to sit behind his computer and stream like a bitch, like I'm not. That's not aimed at you. I'm just firing back at him because he's too scared to go into the situations that I go into. And he says, well, yeah, you can only do it because you're white. But one of my close friends, Amont, a small YouTuber from the DMV, AYEEMONT, he's black, and he does the exact same content that I do. Goes into these hoods, and they welcome him with open arms. So I think Academics is just a little bit out of touch of what's really going on in these hoods. They're people. They're not just going to slaughter you mindlessly. You know what I mean? Like
You just said the content creator from your hood in DC was doing the same thing. He's black. You don't even know how to pronounce his name. You just know how to spell it. Come on, man. That shows the kind of relationship you have right there.
So afraid. He thinks like, oh, I'm black. If I go there, they're going to do something. They're probably not. Of course they could. Of course they could. When the bullets start flying, it's crazy, and they definitely won't pick a target. I'm not safe there just because I'm white. You know what I mean? You saw the video that happened to Duel. How quick that. I was in the backseat with the camera. Do you think he would have said, oh, there's a white guy in the backseat with the camera, I'm not shooting? Those bullets are hitting bodies, white or black, I guarantee you. And, yeah, I don't know.
Okay, so let's point that out. Why did everything take place after the vlog was done? Why did everything happen after the vlog was taking place? That's where everybody trying to make it seem like you had some shit to do with it, or you might have made some phone calls or something, whatever, you feel me? Especially in the middle of him being indicted. He in the middle of Philly, in the middle of the streets that he's being indicted on. You want to shoot a vlog? Come on, man. It seemed like everybody was sitting back waiting for you to.
Some of this stuff with Academics, I don't mean to posture act like I'm a tough guy.
It either seemed like it was the police watching him in them cars, rolling their windows up, or it was his damn ops. You feel me? and that's what you should have been taking precautions on. You was more focused on, and you were more focused on shooting the video. You wasn't, oh yeah, let's be safe. And you don't just think. That's what I said in the other video. You don't just think like if something happens, what you gonna do? Pull out your video camera and start recording? Come on, man, that shit don't make no sense. You got to take precautions and fucking be a part of that shit and start bucking back or something. You feel me? And that's what it seemed like something happened that you not talking about. But you want to sit there and place the blame on Dul about every he made you do this. He made you make a song. He made you retitle your name and all this shit. It seemed like he just made you his goddamn flunky.
I'm a super civilian. You've been around me, Ross. Like, I'm not a tough guy at all, especially when it comes to firearms and that gang stuff. But Academics is definitely not a tough guy either.
Well, listen, I am a big fan of both you and Academics, and I feel like there's a lot of value in what you both do. I personally feel like if it was me, having watched Academics' stream where he dissed you originally, I feel like he hadn't seen a lot of your content. I feel like if anything, I think when he first mentioned the voyeurism thing, I think he kind of made some comment to sort of say like, oh, I haven't really seen much of this guy's stuff. But he did compare you to Andrew Callahan, which I know, people have mixed feelings about.
So how he ain't see your content and he reviewed it? I was on this live stream. AK reviews. He reviewed your whole Instagram and everything, like I just did on the other video, and seen everything that you was putting up while he was talking about you, and he took very precaution in what he was saying. It seemed like he put some more feelings into the shit. That's what it was, and y'all seem like y'all hurt.
Andrew makes great content, and Andrew's been rapping for 10 years. Like, I've been rapping since 2013. Andrew Callahan's been rapping since a similar time frame. Andrew makes way better content than Academics, no offense. So, like, acting like Andrew Callahan doesn't care about the culture or isn't for the culture because he's white is insane. Like, he has videos with the camera guy that used to film for Lil Peep, Wiggy or something. He's got videos with that guy. Like, he has his interest in the culture goes deep. I was filming music videos for people like Banhunter Jug, Lil Ali, Jigga Flames back in like 2017, 2018. Like, I've been rapping and involved in the culture, if you will, for like over a decade. And what exactly is the culture? Isn't it the music and what comes with it? The music, the style, the lingo, the personality, or is it all skin color? Like, I don't really understand that, because even the roots of hip hop are embedded in things like Third Bass, Beastie Boys. Even in modern stuff, you have Young Lean and these people that are trendsetters in the culture and in the movement. So I think trying to gatekeep it because of skin color is not good. And all Academics ever did was DJ at Rutgers. I'm sorry, like he DJ'd at Rutgers. Does he even rap? How many songs has he dropped? I'm not trying to I'm only firing back at him because he fired back at me, you know what I mean? I'm not.
No, I get what you're saying.
I'm not afraid of a confrontation or a fight, you know what I mean?
No, but I don't think Callahan's a voyeurist either, but I more brought that up just because I know that Callahan and Academics have a kind of a personal beef, so I feel like if anything, he was sort of like, painting you with the same brush without necessarily knowing the scope.
Painting you with the same brush. No, Academics was putting you in the same category that he been through. He been through that shit when he first came out. So he's telling you from his learning experience. He even said that. That's what he was saying.
Of your content, because I feel like I've watched a lot of your content and I've met you, and I feel like your heart's in the right place with the content. And again, I feel
especially with the war on Chirac. Y'all remember he created that, so he been through all that backlash and shit, especially from his own kind, his own people. You know what I'm saying? And what he was pointing out was you didn't need to be switching your content up. That's what the main thing he was pointing out. You didn't need to be switching your content up from what you was doing. You was already doing good. What made you switch to this kind of content? You was already doing good. You already had a plaque. Already over close to 1 million subscribers. The fuck you switch up to Skrilla and him for, and then document it wrong without editing type shit. That's what he was trying to point out. And he pretty much was saying, if you're gonna do that, take more precaution in your work, do your research. You feel me? Pretty much what y'all said when y'all first came on.
I feel like sometimes he makes a quick judgment, he makes a comment, and then shit just blows up to another level that it doesn't need to be. And I would say that there's a lot of respect for what both of you do. It's very different. It's a different approach. I personally feel like the whole voyeurism thing in general, I just don't necessarily agree with it on the whole, because I think at the end of the day, everyone has a right to have an opinion about things that are going on in the world. People have an opinion to report and go places and do things. And I just think that if you're being welcomed into an area, by people that want you to be there and they want you to film the goings on and they want to bring you into their circle, and you're willing to put your safety on the line to do that. I feel like there's respect to be had in that. So I personally feel like it's kind of a positive thing that you're doing, but it's difficult when everyone approaches things with a different approach, and like the results are so different, and it's just so easy for this group of people to kind of like throw stones at that group of people. And unfortunately, race is also a thing that gets brought into it. I think when you're a white creator reporting on black issues or the black community, it is a minefield, and a lot of people just, the conversation's over there. The fact that you're white is basically you're disqualified, which I wouldn't agree with, but that is unfortunately how some people do think in this space.
I don't know. The whole thing with academics is very weird, and the timing that he did it the day after Duel died just really rubbed me the wrong way, because he didn't take into consideration that maybe I was actually friends with Duel. I mean, have you seen the responses from anyone in Duel's camp? Like,
he said he ain't taking consideration that. Man, shit crazy. Nah, it seemed like you was chasing that clout, Buckingham. You know what I'm saying? You got a nerve to say academic, then taking consideration that maybe you was friends with. How the fuck does anybody know that you're friends with him when you releasing a vlog and a film that you didn't even take time to edit that motherfucker like you did the part with your car in it? You feel what I'm saying? That's what I'm trying to say, and that's what he's trying to say. And I ain't even just trying to take academics back. I'm just showing you difference. Feel me? Like, it's one thing to come in the hood and shoot a vlog, but it's another thing to come in and shoot a vlog that's incriminating people too. You feel what I'm saying? That's what I'm trying to point out. You feel me? I ain't got no problem with none of y'all, but just know y'all research, man. Know what you doing. Know how you doing. You feel me? Not just, oh yeah, we're gonna make this person's life into a content without editing certain parts out. Like, I feel like you should have been going back with all that shit that you showed already. Is what it seemed like you was fascinated about it. How you ain't know about it if all you was glorifying and showing was the parts that dude was talking about, smoking his ops and what ops he got on check, and then you felt that comfortable to be on the corner, around the corner from his ops block. You mean to tell me he ain't tell you this before y'all started shooting and shit, or shooting that film, or shooting that scene? I mean, you feel what I'm saying? But it's just crazy, man. Like how was you? It seemed like you was fascinated about the shit, and you must think this shit's a joke or something. Like, oh yeah, they not gonna care or whatever because we walking through the hood with the vlog with the camera. Like, at any point, any time, unless y'all had some cops around y'all somewhere, how the fuck did you feel so secure? You feel me? That's what I'm trying to say.
I don't know. Everyone's grieving, man. Like, the shit is fucked up, and all anyone from Duel's camp.
Oh, and that's what it was. DJ Academic shit. The difference DJ Academic is trying to point out with going in the hood, it's niggas in the hood that can shoot vlogs, right? Niggas come in the hood, do it all the time, but it's a certain limit you gonna go to with this shit, because you ain't trying to, while you shooting the vlog, you ain't trying to criminate and indict your people. You ain't trying to, everybody know that Duel was on that type of time, especially if you just look at the live right before Duel, which probably brought you to his attention because he went viral for that live with one mirror on there. He was talking all crazy and shit, reckless and shit. He was swearing on his dean and all that, you feel me, over ops and shit that people don't do that. Like, one thing that Philly does, Philly religion overrides any street shit, you feel me? Any street politics, you feel what I'm saying? That kind of shit. That's why you don't see nothing really happen to Cooley, and he talking all that shit. Then he want to run to to religion.
Campus said is they know how much he cared about me and I cared about him. I was like, from what I know, I was like the second or third person that Skrilla called to tell the news to, and I know as much as people want to act like I was like, yes, he's dead, the video's going to go crazy. Like, the video is a 3 out of 10, 4 out of 10, even after his death. And even if it was a 1 out of 10 and got 500 million views, it wouldn't be worth losing a friend. It was
that's probably the best thing you could have said right there. But back to the Skrilla thing. You said Skrilla called you and told you whatever. How Skrilla had to tell you when the news was already telling us, the news told us right after you released the vlog. And the way you released the vlog looked like you took time to edit that part in the beginning, where you was like, oh, the way you released it didn't sound like you sound like you knew, oh, something about to happen to this dude today, you feel me? Or he's out of the way, I ain't got to worry about that shit, because that shit was just all fucked up, that whole shit. You feel me? It was certain parts that wasn't supposed to be glorified. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm pointing out. You feel me?
I don't know. It fucking sucks.
I think a lot of people, though, they're very insensitive around this, and unfortunately, you did get to know Duel very well at a time when you would have never had any inkling that he might have passed so soon after building that connection. And I think a lot of
the
people
last week of his life was crazy, Ross, with BD and Mir Pablo getting like everything was like falling apart, bro. And I kept telling him like, bro, just stay out of Philly. Things are not looking good. Like it's just crazy how it all fucking how it all turned out. And for a 16-year-old that's just affiliated with the Mott, not even in CCK, and to come and do it like that is just like, that's just fucked up, dude. And I really hope, God willing, that...
And if you've really been documenting the Philly shit, the Philly drill, that's what I feel like Duel was here for. Duel was here for whatever he did, and he was just going to be the face of what is exploiting right now. Is making all y'all tap in and look at it and shit. You feel what I'm saying? And wonder why, wonder this, wonder that. But you've seen it happen plenty of times before with Chicago. You've seen it happen with New York. You feel me? Philly just doing on a different wave right now. You feel me? And y'all mean to tell me y'all ain't tapping with him since the No Jumper interview? Come on, man. This shit, like, I'm gonna stop talking, man. I'm gonna just let this shit play. I didn't say everything I need to say. You feel me? It just was wrong the way that you let that vlog be released the same day you got a nerve to be saying something about academics. It said something to you the next day. What he was supposed to say nothing that he felt, and he's a content creator. You feel what I'm saying? When you sign up for this shit, you supposed to say what you want to feel. You feel what I'm saying? Allegedly, anyway. You know what I mean? But yeah, make sure y'all hit that like button too when y'all tapping in, man. Share the video and all that, cause I'm damn sure gonna share it to Buckingham. And like I said, I was looking for his response to come back on my comments, but he didn't do that. He just went with Trapmoreross and made a video and all this and that. That's crazy. You couldn't join on my stream and talk about this, Buckingham?
But nothing bad happens to me or any of my friends like Tommy G or Andrew going in some of these environments, because to kill someone mostly for clout, as the Philadelphia district attorney said, is a scary thing. That means there's targets on all of our backs, essentially, to get robbed or to get killed.
Well, that kind of brings...
You feel like it's a target on your back and you out in another state and city. What I gotta say to that? Nah, I feel like it became a target on your back when you started making diss songs and recording video diss songs with him and shit. Talking about your part didn't say this, but you on a verse. I mean, you on a song where he's saying verses, disrespecting dead people and shit. Shit crazy.
Brings me to my next point, which is a more of a broader question on just the Philly culture. The more I've learned about Philly, the more I feel like it's sort of almost looking like a sort of Chicago on steroids, or like a speed run of Chicago, because you've got these young guys, they're just trying to catch as many bodies as possible. They're killing innocent people by accident, not really caring. Yeah, and it's really crazy. What was your sense, having spent time in Philly around people involved in this lifestyle, as far as like the mindset? What is it? Some people think the drill music's making people violent. Some people think the violence always been there. Some people think social media is making it worse. Like, what do you think's going on in Philly that's just made it such a hotspot for this stuff?
Well, it's a chicken or the egg argument. I think that social media is the biggest issue. The opportunity for clout and money and a way out is a big deal. Obviously, all major cities have gun violence and gang violence. That's just a reality of it. But if there was no reward with clout and money, it wouldn't be going on for sport like this. Like you hear in Philadelphia, they treat it like a sport. When they're trying to up the score, the Philly scoreboard, all this stuff, And if you shout out to FS DeBender, FS DeBender's from YBC. He makes good music, but a lot of his stuff he talks about explicitly like it's a.
Shout out FS too, man. I've been tapping it with them. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, shout out FS, man. It just seems like y'all need to learn that y'all need to watch y'all editing skills more. Y'all need to do that, because to me, if anybody know Duel and all them niggas didn't give a fuck about what was being released. I do believe that. But if you was such a real true friend, Buckingham, like you said you was, you gonna take it upon yourself to make sure certain parts ain't released like you did in that clip. And that's what I'm gonna keep pointing out.
The game, the killings are like a game. Not to say that he's a killer or anything, but you get what I'm saying. I think it's all comes back to social media, all of it. And
now you throwing a alleged accusation out on FS DeBender.
I know, like the gang hierarchy comes back or like a game. Not to say explicitly like it's a game. The killings are like a game. Not to say that he's a killer or anything, but you get what I'm saying. I think it's all comes back to social media, all of it. And I know like the gang hierarchies were wiped out at sometime in the 80s or 90s, and there was less like organization, and now it's just all these neighborhood cliques, and so it's just every man for themselves. I mean, you saw Duel had ops; he was surrounded by his ops, and the more he dissed them, and the more he dragged and was disrespectful, the more attention and money he got. Like one of his biggest moments was digging up that grave, even though he digged up a pile of dirt that wasn't the gravesite.
So that's what I'm trying to point out when I'm breaking down this type of shit, this type of content. I'm trying to point out that y'all glorifying this shit. It's cool until the shit hits the fan. Then you don't want to take full accountability for what you did or what part you played. That shit don't sound right. You feel me? Don't sit right with me. That's all I'm saying, man. You feel what I'm saying? But yeah, though, everybody know what they signed up for. Dude definitely know what he signed up for. You feel me?
But the message is still the same. And the impact is still the same, because the guy whose grave he digged up, he had an unmarked grave, so that's symbolic of something. And I'd like to, I don't know what people think I think about it. I disavow the disrespecting of the dead under all circumstances. You know what I mean? There's people that I hate right now. I don't hate academics, but if like academics, I don't like him at all right now. I think like at all. If he died, I would send my condolences to him. I don't want anything bad to happen to him. I don't want, you know what I mean? Same thing with like someone like Sneeko or Danny Mullen. Like as much as I don't like these guys, if they were to die, I would actually feel sad about that, and I wouldn't disrespect them, because I don't believe in disrespecting of the dead. I think that's a bad thing. But am I here to judge people that do disrespect the dead when their dead is being disrespected? That's another chicken or the egg situation. Like, so YBC Josh was one of the first people killed in the YBC gang war. From what I understand, that's like first blood. So if he gets killed and then the other side's bragging about it, I don't know. What are you going to do? Let me ask you a question, Ross. If your best friend or your brother was murdered, and then the person who murdered him made a rap song about it and took to social media bragging about it and disrespecting you and calling you a pussy and saying they're smoking on your brother, what would you do?
I think it's a great question, man. It's hard for me to put myself in those shoes, but there's a part of me that feels like I probably would crash out and do something crazy. Fortunately, I'm not placed in that situation, and that's why I feel like it's so important to have sympathy with these guys. Yeah, you're Mr. Disrespectful, you're pretending to dig up an op's grave and you're smoking this person and that person, but you're coming from a culture.
Nah, it ain't. It's not important to have sympathy. It's important to not instigate this shit. And that's pretty much what the fuck a video, that's what a vlog does when you shooting this shit in the middle of the hood. And the nigga, you just said he was surrounded by his ops. So why would you think that everything was just so safe, so sound? You feel me? You had to, man, I ain't, allegedly, we gonna say that.
Where your friends have just been killed, your people that you loved are getting smoked by these people on the other side, and it's not surprising. Yeah, it's easy for an outsider to be like, oh, everyone's crashing out, they're crazy, they're throwing their lives away. But if you're actually dealing with that situation and people are smoking your dead friends, it's not, that becomes normalized behavior. It becomes a normalized behavior for you to then do that back. But the most unfortunate thing is I feel like that just creates a vicious cycle where it's just going to keep happening and keep happening. And I don't know how to stop it.
It's horrible. I mean, I was watching your documentary about Q50. Like, look at like Lil Jeff and Q50 seem to hop off the porch at a later age. So say you're a good kid in a bad area, and then one of your friends is involved in some stuff, and then he gets killed. That could drag you in it through that way. My brother died at 34 years old.
It seemed like Q50, the last one standing, I was fucking with Duel and Lil Jeff and all them. And you talk about in the comment section that you gonna make a interview, letting everybody that's watching, you don't know who the fuck reading that shit. You see, I found you on there, right? So why the fuck would you think it's cool to put that kind of shit up there, saying you about to do this, and you just already took this kind of smoke? Like, come on, man, be real, Bucky. And I'm trying to give you some type of game, man. I don't even know how the fuck you got to almost. Well, I know you make content based on what you really know, not this kind of content. That's what it boils down to. You switching up content, jumping into this kind of shit, and then thinking you just do what you want to do, how you want to do it, but you had enough conscience to do what you did to the clip of the shootout that allegedly happened. And that's what he needs to address too, that shootout, and why he clicked that part. You feel me?
Rest in peace, Kyle Delaney, 2019. If someone had killed him, or any of my friends that passed away, Nate, Jared, Tommy, Joey, John, any of these people, if someone had killed them, bro, with like the amount of rage and anger and trauma I have from losing so many people, I guarantee you, I would want retribution. Not to say it's good or not to glorify it, but I mean, if you've ever felt the pain of losing someone, just imagine, and if you have, just imagine someone disrespecting them online. Oh man, at least you'd want to put hands on him. At the very least, you'd want to put hands on him.
It's only human to want to do that. Unfortunately, that's the situation. And then you know, from city to city and state to state, you've got guys on either side dissing each other, smoking each other. It's hard to imagine it stopping. But going back to what you said earlier, I thought was interesting, is that the social media, I feel like it's so interesting when people try and blame people like you and me, or even the music. So rarely do you ever see people blaming the social media. And I think what's really interesting in Philly is that you've got a lot of these social media accounts reporting the deaths like they're sports. You know, I see a few Instagram accounts of people doing stat sheets for shooters in Philadelphia like they're basketball players, talking about
Trap, listen, you just now get hip to that shit. That shit been going on, and motherfuckers been doing that back and forth before dude passed. It's still going on. But don't try to place blame. Y'all, I see what y'all trying to do. Y'all trying to place blame on all the other people. It's about how you perceive the shit and break it down. Feel what I'm saying? If you see that this is bullshit ass content, or not bullshit, but you see this content is lit, but it's fucking indicting type content. Dude even said it in the songs. I'm trying to catch 10 more bodies for the indictment come on, man. Like, pay attention to what the fuck is going on, man. He knew what was going on, man. Just like everybody else supposed to know. You feel me? That's all we saying. That's all we trying to say. Feel me? If you gonna jump in it, do your research. You feel me? That's all.
accuracy score, defense score. And to me, that is like one of the most flagrant normalizations, trivializations of violence that I've ever seen. Like, beyond Chicago, you got a million people smoking hookah, yeah, sure, but like, you know, the way that this whole Philly scoreboard thing plays out with, like, they're actually treating it like ESPN, I think is one of the most twisted things I've seen in culture, and it's really tied to the social media accounts. You know,
it's pure dehumanization. And like I said, I'm not here to justify or try to act like I'm holier than thou, because I didn't grow up in that environment where that was happening around me and everything. But it is pure dehumanization, bro. Like, the people will die, and it is just becomes an afterthought so quickly, and they're still internally processing the trauma. And these other people, the listeners of the music, they don't give a fuck. But I mean, how could you blame them? They're so removed from it. We're all so removed from it. You know what I mean? That's one of the reasons I want to go into these environments, talk to these people in their environments, and meet them head on as a peer. You know, like, that's why I don't talk down to people or act like try to, have you ever thought about, like, maybe killing people's bad? Like, gun violence is bad. Dissing the dead is, like, they know, they're smart. They are very aware of these things.
No, they're not smart. Not everybody's smart. And if you're gonna go into the environment, why not try to help them? Why are you just recording what they do? So you just gonna go in the environment and record a motherfucker smoking crack? You gonna record a motherfucker shooting dope and say, oh, that's helping them because I'm recording them? Nah, you go in the environment, you try to see what you can do to actually help as you were shooting that vlog. You feel what I'm saying? You could tell him off camera, yo, this ain't gonna really make me. How are you telling him something off camera about me putting this part in the video is gonna make me feel like I'm lining you up or something? You feel what I'm saying? Come on now, make it make sense, man. That's all.
And the value I bring is, like, how come no one's criticizing these, sorry to get on a tangent, but how come no one's criticizing record labels, bro? I've helped people out behind the scenes that were going to sign a record label deal that was so predatory that I came out of pocket to help them at no benefit to my own, just so they wouldn't sign the deal. People are in bad situations and are desperate for money. And these predatory record labels are signing them to deals that they will never make money off of their art and their work. We should be more mad at record labels. I'm coming in, an independent person, spending money out of my pocket to promote people in the way that they would like to be promoted. You know what I mean? If you watch my Mexican OT video or my video with the Crips of Houston, Maxo Cream, no one's smoking on anyone or doing anything like that. I don't push that narrative. I don't force that. But I come in with promotion. I wish that when I was starting my YouTube career, someone came out to, Carroll County, Maryland, and did a video about me and where I'm from.
Oh, Maryland.
Yeah, I totally agree, man. I think it's really important, and I really respect what you're doing. I feel like it's just so unfortunate how things played out and the timing, and just all of the just dumb conspiracy theories and dumb stuff that came out following Dul's death. I think you're doing a really great thing. I think that what you're doing to report on different areas in these drill scenes is so crucial. I think that in years' time, people are going to look back and look at people like me and you and the other people in this scene and say that you were doing a really good thing as far as reporting on what was going on, doing it sensitively, doing it to provide context to what's going on, talking about the deeper issues, the social media, the record labels. Nobody's more happy when an artist gets killed than the record label, because the price of their posthumous album, 2, 3, 4, 5 albums they're going to pump out after somebody's died, has just gone up. And I think these sorts of conversations aren't being had in the mainstream, and the independent journalist going places and reporting on things is needed, especially in this era where I feel like the powers that be would rather just nobody talk about any of the bad stuff that's happening and nobody blame anything. The record labels can keep playing all the violent music that people are getting smoked and getting killed and they're making all the money, but no one else should be able to talk about it. And I think it's really important. So I really
See, y'all missing the point and y'all trying to cover shit up. It's cool though, but record labels definitely is to blame for that shit, man. You feel what I'm saying? But it's up to us what we gonna put out here as content. That's all. You feel me? Simple as that. You feel me? And how you put it out. You feel me? That's all.
really respect what you do, man, and I feel like your reporting on the Ybcdul story and Philadelphia in general is crucial and it's needed, and I really appreciate that, man. So I appreciate you taking the time to break it down for me. And
definitely was crucial and definitely was needed, but everything he reported ain't nothing different about what he's reporting except for the fact that he shot a vlog on top. Everything he reported and made a story about is pretty much what every other blog that knew about him. Let's shout out American Confidential. He definitely knew about him. Box 29 News. Who else? Philly Scoreboard, Philly News, Philly Trenches, all them. Anybody Philly, ABC, six Action 6 News, Fox 29, all that shit. Feel me? Who else knew about him? A couple other people knew about him. Say Cheese. Come on, man. Like you saying, he's pretty much saying the same thing that them stories were saying, but just breaking it down in different aspect. Only thing different, new to his story that everybody wants to know is how did this shit play out? You feel me? And that's the main part. That's why this shit gonna always follow you, Bucky. You made yourself part of that. That's why before you shoot a vlog with somebody, you need to actually, like, for instance, how rappers do now, before they shoot a rap, before they put a verse together with another rapper, they make sure it's gonna line up right with that rapper before they do it. They can't just be making albums and rap songs with rappers and these niggas ain't really living what they talking about. Or not even that, not in that aspect, but whatever they saying they country riding and they eating an ice cream cone and walking down the beach. If they ain't really living that shit like they saying it, you feel me? And this person is living it. How would that shit line up right? Where, you know what I'm saying? That kind of shit. So a lot of people don't want that shit attached to them. That's why a lot of people was staying out of that. You feel me?
Give me your side of the story, man, because I think it's very important. It's much needed, and people are going to look back at this for years to try and gain a better understanding of what was going on here. And you did a major part in spreading the word.
Yeah, I appreciate you so much, Ross. Thanks for the conversation. I want to say two things. I want to say, God willing, nothing bad will happen to me. But if something does happen to me that's bad ever in these hoods, it's my own fault. It's no one's fault but my own. I'm an adult. I can make my own decisions, and I'm very aware of the danger I'm getting into. Another thing is...
that's good you take accountability for that, though.
I lost much more with Dual passing than I gained from his passing. You know what I mean? We had plans to go out to St. Louis, to Chicago, to do a big give back in Philly, and yeah, it's just, I don't know, bro. I don't want to get fucking emotional and fucking be weak on your thing, but yeah, rest in peace to Dual, man. It's fucked up.
So if you meant to do that, right? Stop trying to take what. Now I'm getting upset. Stop trying to take what you heard Dual say on that motherfucking blog of yours and try to make it sound like you was so sincere about whatever you was going through. If you really wanted to give back to the kids in Philly and in Baltimore and all that, why don't you still do it? Brandon Buckingham, why don't you and trapmoreross do that instead of make a fucking stream together explaining this, that, the third? Like, y'all pretty much doing what academics is doing right now too. You feel what I'm saying? But like, well, not what academics doing, but what y'all say academics is doing compared to what you doing on Feet on Land type shit. Nah, you gotta take full responsibility and accountability for what you did, right? And you might not pull the trigger, but you damn sure instigated the fight. You feel me? You let it on. You feel what I'm saying? And like it was a short that I made. Why don't you give some of that YouTube money to Dual's family and come out Philly and do some picnic parties and shit like that. Show the community that you didn't mean that. You feel what I'm saying? That's all. You know what I'm saying?
The whole thing's fucked up. It's fucked up on all sides. It's fucked up. Everyone he was dissing and disrespecting, I feel bad for their families as well. K3's mom, everyone, bro. I don't know. It's just sad. It's a lot of trauma, bro.
No,
for them, I'm not trying to act like I'm, you know what I mean?
No, I totally agree, man. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for your loss, and rest in peace to everybody involved on all sides. I don't think anybody that got caught up in this thing and lost their life in the city of Philly deserved it or even knew what they were getting into. They were born into a very unfortunate circumstance, and you know, it's just it's just unfortunately the facts of life. Like you said in your response to academics, it's like, you know, you're like a weatherman reporting on what's going on. You're not the cause of what's going on in Chicago. It's like a cyclone of negativity and violence going on in every city, and you know, the best thing you can do is document that, and I think you've done the whole story in that whole area justice. So
I want to say one more thing. You've just learned all this stuff about Q50. I'm learning about him as well through your video and through other things. I'm about to go be hanging out with them very soon. Do you think if once I go there and hang out with them, when something inevitably bad happens because they're so in deep, do you think that's going to be my fault or your fault in any way? I mean,
if you put in the comment section you about to go hang out with him and y'all saying that Q50 is really on the run from the feds like y'all saying he is, even though it's a lot of mystery in that boy's history too, and he got some shit going on, getting caught with machine guns and all this shit, like, you know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. But yeah, but if you doing that like that and Q50 allow that shit, and then you just walking around and you ain't taking the time to edit certain parts out, if Q50 on the run and something does happen to him, then yeah, they're gonna look at you the same way. You feel me?
Given that I don't post anything that they don't want me posting.
Of course, I don't think that that's going to be my fault or your fault. But at the end of the day, people will say it's my fault. I explain very clearly in the Q50 documentary, like, it's very unfortunate. He's saying that he's got 8 bodies. That lifestyle, realistically, it usually only ends one of 2 ways, either death or in jail. And it's hard for me. I pray that Q50 can get himself out of the situation that he's in. But also, it's hard to imagine his story end in any one of those 2 ways. That is the streets. And he says he's got 8 bodies. Will people say that it's our fault that happened? They definitely will. You know, will people point the finger and say who's really
you choking on that shit?
At fault? Who really stoked the beef? It's so complicated. No one can ever say. But I think that at the end of the day, it's important to spread the word. And if you've got people that are in the community making millions, generating millions of views from their stories about catching 8 bodies, killing people in the scene, smoking this person or that person, I think we should be able to have a conversation about it, and it's important. But we got no hope of stopping it, and it's really unfortunate, man. I really pray for the day that maybe the society as a whole can have a breakthrough in some of these issues, because it's just not right that so many people are suffering.
I've been invited out to Chicago by them, and I'm going to be like literally staying with them for 48 hours the whole time, sleeping in the same place, everything. But I've asked multiple people this.
You should have did that with Duel.
Question a lot off camera. When will it end? When will the gun violence end? When will the gang violence end? And they always say the same thing: not till everyone is dead.
Yeah,
that's a horrible reality. What can I or you do or say about that? What can anyone do or say about that?
I honestly, man, not to big ourselves up too much, but I feel like the best thing that you can do really is just try and spread the word and spread a responsible, you know, a socially responsible message and a positive outlook, because that's...
Shout out trapmoreross, man. At least you did say something positive, man. But it seemed like you looking at your younger version of yourself and you trying to correct your mistakes or trying to make him accept accountability for what he did do. You can't do something and then be like, oh man, I don't know why it happened, it's his fault that it happened, and you know damn well you provoked it, you know what I'm saying? And you play like you didn't know what you was doing. How the fuck you get this far and you didn't know what you doing? Like, come on, man, you know what I mean? It makes sense.
Unfortunately, that's the one thing that's missing in the music. I feel like anybody that's been through a tough circumstance in their life, you have the right to hop on music or to write a book, tell your story, you know, make money off of your story, turn your difficult past into something positive, into a new journey, into a career. But a lot of the violent music does celebrate the violence. I feel like if anyone celebrates the violence, it's the rappers, and probably to a greater extent the record labels. And I do think that, you know, you're entitled, if you live that life and you've killed people and people have killed your friends, you're entitled to tell those stories. But the rappers don't necessarily do it in a responsible way. So I feel like that's why the scene does need people like us to. So
y'all saying y'all do that shit in a responsible way? How is it what he just did was in a responsible way, and he edit his part out that he just told you? Bucky just told y'all, right, in the beginning of the interview, that it was a scene, and y'all go back and watch his vlog, right, that he shot with Duel. He said that the scene where the yellow tape was around the car, where they cut it and edited it out right after Duel was talking shit or whatever. I think it's right after this part, this clip right here. But he took enough time to edit that part out, but he didn't do it for nothing else. Like, come on, like that's what we're saying. You feel me? Y'all saying some other shit, and they ain't It ain't making no sense. Like, listen what he just said. He said,
create these.
You said he feel like it's important that y'all come up. It is important, but it's also important that y'all take the time to do what you have to do that's necessary. Because it ain't like these people from where y'all going to interview know how to do this shit. I know I ain't know how to do this shit until I started learning more and more and more. It took me a minute to learn with it, but y'all not going to lay out the handbook and the rules on how to do this shit. You feel me saying? But you are supposed to know. You feel me? And it's a lot of responsibility that comes with vlogging, and a lot of responsibility comes with doing these lives. A lot of responsibility comes with being on the internet, period. You feel me? And a lot of maturity.
These pieces of content in a responsible way to say, hey, you heard that song where he's talking about I've got this many bodies and I'm smoking this person and that person. He makes it look great. It's actually not that great, you know. And maybe often I try and end my videos with a sort of a socially responsible message, and I often say at the end, you know, this has got to stop. I hope that the next generation doesn't have to go through this. You know, often I think to myself, man, if one kid in a hood that's dealing with those problems sees that video and feels like, man, I don't want to crash out like that person, I don't want to go out like this person, I understand why I'm getting sucked into this thing in a negative way and I shouldn't be part of that. Often I wonder, man, if I could convince one kid to just not go down that not catch that body, you know, not go down that path that the music glamorizes, I would see that as a win. But there's not much more that we can do, man. You know, we can't jump in front of the bullets for people either. So you're right. Yeah. You know, it's not going to stop.
Yeah, it's not going to stop. And I guess the closing statement I'd like to say is I just came back from Lebanon, where I was documenting the war between Israel and in the south part of Lebanon. And the H guys, I don't think I'm allowed to say their name because they're labeled a terrorist organization. H guys in Israel, or IDF, they're in a battle, and I've been doing a lot of research about them. And they're actually doing drone strikes and killings, and then certain members of their media teams are bragging about it back and forth, much similar to what you're seeing in the gang communities of America. So it doesn't just exist in this little subsection. I'm currently witnessing an Israeli-Lebanon territorial dispute where there's killings and gloating and bragging about who got hit and who got killed. And, oh, you can't come outside, you can't enjoy your time outside. Like saying similar things like that, like come outside. It's very crazy. It's very interesting. But
I find that topic super interesting because I feel like what we do at the end of the day with covering stories like this, we're essentially covering micro conflicts. You know, these are conflicts confined to 1 or 2 blocks maybe. But something I found really interesting when I was doing my research for my Young Boy video, I talked a little bit about the kind of history of slavery and the Civil War in Louisiana to really lay a very strong foundation for like why it's so hard to grow up as an African American in these southern states. But what I found interesting is in that research, I found out that it's like in the Civil War, you know, marching bands on both sides, they had songs that were all about, you know, marching the army into battle. They would have songs that they sung about the ops, the enemy. They would create these songs to hype themselves up to go into war, and they would go into battle and they would have
good example. So if you think you interviewing a drill rapper that's making songs that's hyping this, it ain't about that. It's about what you cutting out and reclipping and putting up, posting as content. What's gonna make the people engage and look at it and all that shit. You know what I'm saying? If you feel like you to a point where all you can put up is negative shit and you expect a positive response out of that, how does that work? You feel me? That's all I'm trying to say.
Conflict, and it really is no different. And often I felt like I wanted to put that into the Young Boy video because I felt like it was so important that making art and making music about conflict, to hyping your troops up to go and kill in battle, that's been happening all over the world for centuries. It's not a new thing. And the crazy thing is that when people try and say we should ban drill music or drill music's the problem, it's just that it's just a feature, you know, it's just a feature of conflict. It's a micro conflict. You got guys from this block rapping about this block. You have, you know,
Nah, we should ban that shit. But the reason why y'all don't feel like it's just a feature and all that goofy shit you saying right now, because you're not living in the communities to see this shit affect that shit. It's different from rap music and drill music. Rap music is what the fuck we seen going on way before this drill. People was talking about getting money. They pretty, like you said, they chanting the spirit. They telling, like Jay-Z, he talking about getting money. He's making you want to be motivated to get some money. These motherfuckers ain't doing nothing but motivating motherfuckers to kill each other. Then y'all wonder why Aiden Waters killed him. He ain't know nothing else to do. That boy was crashing out. You feel me? He ain't know what else to do. He was just only probably like 10 years old when the fucking Aiden Woodard was probably only 10 years old when the what's that shit that came around with the when the pandemic checks and all that stuff was coming out, right? That was just a few years ago. This boy's 16 or 15, whatever. So come on now, like, what do you? That's a perfect example of what the fuck drill music is going to do to everybody that's growing up into this shit. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm trying to explain.
I'm sure there's probably, I reckon if you look hard enough for it, there's probably even some music to be found. Like, I remember seeing, like, after the Russia-Ukraine war broke out, like, Ukrainian, it was like a drill song, it was like a drill beat, but they're on a tank talking about how they're going to kill the Russians, and it's like, this is just a part of conflict culture, and it's unfortunate that the conflict is present at every level in society, and it always has been, and it always will be. There'll always be wars and battles, whether it's on the block or between nations, and that's probably one of the saddest parts of the human experience. One of the saddest features of humanity as a whole probably is just the never-ending cycle of conflict. And
so why we don't see y'all doing it? Why we don't see y'all making it, like you just said, you something about a song or whatever the fuck y'all did, whatever y'all culture's into. Why y'all? I don't see y'all doing that shit like that, because y'all have more better sense than that bullshit. That's what's going on. You feel me? But I ain't saying Duel was perfect. I ain't saying none of them was perfect. I'm just saying, you coming in the neighborhood promoting this shit, just take accountability for what you did, man. And you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying Duel didn't do it himself, because Duel knew what the fuck he signed up for. He showed you that. He didn't care. You know what I'm saying? And the people around him. But if you come along and you be a part of it, it's one thing to make a video on it. And it's one thing to make a video on it and you never was in the trenches with him to shoot the video. Nobody could look at you like that. We just gonna look at you a regular person, like we supposed, like a regular reporter, whatever, like we supposed to. But you come in the hood and shoot a video, and you glorifying certain parts of the shit that's all negative, right? And then the dude is killed the same day or whatever when you release the video, and you don't feel like none of that had nothing to part to play in it. You know what I'm saying? Come on now, that don't even make sense. That's all we trying to say.
And we're probably as likely to stop the violence on the blocks of Philly than we are in the Middle East, and that's just unfortunately the way it is. But the best thing you can do is to report on it responsibly, and I feel like you're doing that really well.
And report responsibly, like you just said, not report just, oh yeah, this dude just shot a dude on camera, we're gonna report that. Like, if you're gonna report a certain way so it don't incriminate yourself. That's all. You feel me?
Yeah, I'm trying my best, but I'm a very flawed, fucked up guy as well. I'm not perfect by any means, and I might get a little ahead of myself on some of these. Sometimes with I got to be sober. I'll just say that I should stay sober. But yeah, I don't know. I've already given my final statements, but I will say, since just you said what you said, Duel got into rapping because of the war in Philly. He didn't get into the war in Philly because of rapping, and that is documented. That's a fact. So, chicken or the egg in most situations, but I know in his specific situation, the violence and the war around him is what got him to rap. He didn't even consider himself a rapper. He was just someone who disrespected the dead.
Yeah, man.
Hold on. What did he just say? He said, dude got in. He's trying to. Hold on.
It's a really interesting.
He was just specific situation is documented. That's a fact. So, chicken, what you said. Duel got into rapping because of the war in Philly. He didn't get into the war in Philly because of rapping, and that is documented. That's a fact.
What? You say he didn't get into the rapping because of Philly? I mean, because the war in Philly. He did. What the fuck are you talking about? That's what his crew was doing. If you did more research, like I said, you understood that. You're just saying anything right now. You try to make shit make sense. If you understood that and you was round this way somewhere where it was going on, you gonna see what I'm talking about. You gonna know what precautions to take. You gonna know what's going on. You feel what I'm saying? But he got into the rapping shit because his crew was in it. You feel what I'm saying? Which was in Philly. And they in the environment in Philly. So what they rapping about, the shit that's going on in Philly. So what are you talking about? You feel me? He didn't get into rapping because whatever. What did he just say?
Fact. So he didn't get into the war in Philly because of rapping, and that is.
He didn't get into the war in Philly because he was rapping. Yes, he did, because if you rapping about certain dumb shit, yeah. First of all, he contradict that right there. Doesn't even make sense. If he rapping about shit, it's one thing to come. I don't see Music Soul Child getting no goddamn beefs or no drill. He from Philly, so this is what I'm trying to explain to you. He did get into the war in Philly by rapping. You feel what I'm saying? But he was already a part of it. You feel what I'm saying? He just wanted to rap to carry his team. to take off from J100, what J100 was doing. You feel me? J100 was carrying that shit. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, and that's pretty much how the shit started transpiring back and forth, because people hearing diss songs of their loved ones talking about glorified and shit. Then we got somebody like you interviewing it and boosting and bragging and shooting that part and glorifying and shit and playing like you don't know the difference and shit. That's what instigated means, and that's what caused the war in Philly type shit. You know what I'm saying? And dude knew exactly what the fuck he was doing. That's what I'm saying. Like, you just coming along and you just hopping along trying to get a vlog. You should have just shot the vlog and added this shit and just take this as a learning lesson and do it right next time. That's all. You feel me?
It's documented. That's a fact. So, chicken or the egg in most situations. But I know in his specific situation, the violence and the war around him is what got him to rap. He didn't even consider himself a rapper. He was just someone who disrespected the dead.
Yeah, man, it's really interesting, and that was his opportunity to get out and to make money, and obviously that took his life. But we're living in an era where you can go online and disrespect people and make money out of it, and then you're on the clock of, can you get out of the city before the city catches up with you? And it's messed up. But bro, I really appreciate you breaking down kind of the inside story for me, breaking down your side of things. You know, I know a lot of people had things to say about the situation, but you know, you're the man himself, and I really appreciate you giving me that context, bro. It's much appreciated.
Yeah, thank you, Russ. You're great at what you do. I love your videos, man, and I hope you keep it up.
Appreciate that, man. Love what you do too.
Why ain't y'all say rest in peace, Dole, at the end of something? Like, you feel me? Your shit is crazy, man. But yeah, y'all get in the comments. Let me know what y'all think about this, man. This was Brandon Buckingham, YBC Brandon Buckingham, and trapmoreross, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Discussing about the situation with Dole's passing and why he shot the vlog. Now, if y'all follow me, whatever, y'all seen that I just made a video the other day. I was waiting for him to address it, and this was Buckingham's way of addressing it, because I had to put the pressure on. I went into his trapmoreross comments, and I was like, man, why you ain't do this or whatever? I might make a video next showing y'all that, but I'm not gonna show y'all right now. But just it felt like. I feel like I put the pressure on him where he had to come back and respond. You feel me? Not just me, people like academics and other people too. You feel what I'm saying? Shout out all them people, man. Shout out good content creators that take the time to edit the shit and make sure they take the proper precautions to see the stupidity in the other person that's the drill rapper, and just say, oh, you know what? I'm gonna help this person out myself, because I know he's damaging to self-destruct yourself. You feel what I'm saying? But yeah, make sure y'all hit that like button, share the video, and subscribe. And keep rocking with Trenches Politics TV. We only politicking for the trenches. Let's get it.